For quite a while now, there's been a lot of talk about how Meghan Markle seems to favor her daughter, who just turned 4 this week, and how she's clearly the quote-unquote golden child, while poor Archie is all but ignored by his mama and papa. And when you consider the number of times that Lily is not only mentioned by her mother, but is also featured in her projects, such as Ever, it's easy to see why people would think that way. Even just this week, for the final bonus episode of her second flopcast, she cannot do podcasts. Do you think she'll get the hint? She briefly mentioned running a business with her daughter.
Just curious. I wonder if one day I'll be in business with Lily and we'll be building something.
Yeah, that's the best.
And you could say her guest Tina Knowles was talking about running a business with her daughter Beyonce. But with Meghan, when you look at the greater picture, this is a recurring theme. However, I personally have always maintained that Meghan's daughter, being the daughter of a narcissistic mother, could never really be the favorite. And even if I'm wrong and she currently is, due to reasons that we'll discuss later in this video, her time on that so-called golden pedestal is very limited. Because in my experience, and based on everything I've learned about narcissism, narcissists such as Meghan only have one true favorite in their lives: themselves. Case in point, as I mentioned, Lily turned 4 this week. And unlike her brother Archie, who only received one Instagram post commemorating his birthday, Lily received not 1, not 2, but 3 posts in a row to commemorate her special day. And when I say her, I should make it clear, actually, that I mean Meghan. Look at these posts. Who is really front and center in these 2 photos? Where is your eye immediately drawn? Medusa, Meghan. Lily's just a prop. Barely noticeable. I barely saw her to begin with, especially with that mop of hair on Meghan's head. Meghan's dark mop of wild hair forces your eyes to look at her. And in the second one, her face is the largest object, I suppose, in the photo and is the main focal point. And then we get to the pièce de la résistance, the Instagram post that she gifted me as the proverbial cherry on top for the argument that I intend to make with this video, which I had planned and started writing before she even posted the twerking video. I think we've all established by now that Meghan Markle knows exactly what she is doing at all times. Everything is deliberate, every move is calculated. And this instance is no different. She knew that this video would generate all the headlines, both positive and negative. It's all the same to her. And everyone's going on and on about how unbecoming it is of her as a duchess, twerking and gyrating like she's some wannabe TikTok influencer following a trend. But honestly, I wasn't taken aback in the slightest when I first saw this video on her Instagram. Because to me, publishing this, which is meant to be a private video, one would assume, for the entire world to see is right on brand for Meghan. After that Ellen squat and the mock curtsy, and not to mention all of those sex scenes that she is famous for acting out during her illustrious Hollywood career, I wouldn't expect anything less of her. The sophisticated, prim and proper, well-spoken, highly intelligent and considerate domestic goddess act is just that, an act. I'm also not here to speculate on the surrogacy and her baby bump. I've never been pregnant. I'm not a mother. So I honestly have nothing to contribute to that discussion other than saying, yes, that bump looked weird. It looked way too light and airy, and it moved way too freely for a woman who was presumably about to pop. What I personally find despicable, deplorable, is how swiftly she moved to outshine her own 4-year-old daughter. This video to me is Meghan's way of ensuring that she is the center of attention and that Lily must know her place. Meaning, she must never dare outshine her mother. In a video I posted just before Mother's Day this year, I know, the gall, right? We talked about narcissistic mothers and the lifetime's worth of damage that they can inflict on their children. In that video, we covered a lot of housekeeping points, boilerplate disclaimers, which are always important when we delve into topics that we are not professionally qualified to talk about. I'm not a psychologist, but I'm sick and tired of repeating those disclaimers. So if you want to kind of get on the same page and avoid the effort of hurling the whole armchair psychologist accusation at me, I do recommend you watch that video. But today, I want to specifically focus on the narcissistic mother/daughter dynamic. We've already established that, like all narcissists, Meghan Markle desires control. In fact, I would say she demands it. She expects it. And not just over her immediate circle, which include obviously her family, her friends, her parents, even her staff, but over the world at large. Why else do you think she feels the need to clap back at every single little petty thing in the media about her that she happens to disagree with, no matter how true it is? Or why else does she have a PR spin machine that's on overdrive mode 24/7? Or why she has an Instagram where she can generate whatever headlines she desires at the touch of a screen. This twerking video, for instance. Do you really think she didn't know exactly what sort of backlash it would emanate? That she's completely unaware of the surrogacy rumors? Or how unbecoming of a duchess this behavior is? She knew exactly what she was doing when she posted that. And she's probably experiencing a narcissistic high as we speak over all the attention and controversy that she single-handedly caused, again, just at the touch of a screen. Posting that video was a desperate cry for attention if I've ever seen one. And we don't know what triggered it. Perhaps it was Catherine. Perhaps she was having a particularly low day with low narcissistic supply. Or perhaps, and I'm speculating here, I really want to make it clear, it was the attention that Lily was receiving on her special day, on her birthday, particularly from her father. The thing with narcissistic mothers is that they see their own daughters, their own babies, their own flesh and blood, as a direct threat, as competition. They don't discriminate. Their daughter, as far as they're concerned, is just like any other woman out there. And age is no barrier. You could be as young and innocent as Lily herself and still be on the receiving end of the wrath, the furious envy of a narcissistic mother. And this is even more so when another man, being the husband/father, perhaps even the brothers, are involved. And I'm sure many of you in the comments, because I read all your comments in my Mother's Day video, a lot of you have been in the same boat. So perhaps this video was her way of self-soothing, of reminding herself and reassuring herself and the world that there was a time when Lily didn't exist and it was just the two of them against the world. Again, pure speculation on my part. What puts daughters of narcissistic mothers in a particularly nasty spot, and again, I know a lot of you have gone through this, is the fact that they never receive any maternal support that you would expect of a healthy-minded mother. And that's because they don't see their children as individuals, worthy of love in their own right. They see them as extensions of themselves. They own them. So you can be pretty enough to make me look good, but you better not be prettier than me. You can be smart enough and do well in school and your career to make me look good, but you dare not outdo me. Know your place, because otherwise all hell's gonna break loose. And that's how the daughter is raised. They learn that love is conditional. As long as you play by the rules, you make mama happy, everything's gonna be hunky-dory. The daughter might even feel like she's her mother's best friend. What an honor, what a privilege that my mother, the person that I value the most in the world, which many children, if not all children, feel that way, has singled me out as her confidant, as her best friend, as her source of solace. When in reality, as the research taught me, that's a form of love bombing. A very dangerous one, because it can entirely rob that little girl of the essence of her childhood, her innocence. It's a violation of a parent-child boundary. Now, this is normally done by the mother very early on in the daughter's life, because the younger she is, the more impressionable she is, the easier she is to mold and to control. But what happens often is as the daughter ages, as she gets older, develops her own personality, and perhaps starts noticing some oddities in her mother's behavior, especially when she compares it with other mothers who may not be narcissistic, problems can start to arise. Because according to the narcissistic mother, that's a form of rebellion. How dare you break free or even attempt to? Remember, as far as a narcissistic mother is concerned, the daughter is her property. She's her toy. She's her prop. As stated in a 2021 paper titled Challenging the Narcissistic Mother, quote, they use their daughters to fulfill their own needs and above all, to feel good about themselves. And don't we always say that about Meghan Markle and how she uses everyone, not just her children, as props to make her look good, to prop herself up? Just look at the Instagram posts with Lily that we just discussed. In fact, take a look at her entire Instagram account, both her personal one and as ever. Despite her and Harry's numerous protestations and campaigns about privacy and child safety online, all of that went straight out the window without a second thought as soon as Meghan realized that she can use her kids not just as a merching opportunity for the moolah, but to project a certain image, which in this case is the image of a loving, caring, affectionate, fun mother, just like Diana. And these photos that she posted with Lily scream that. Why else do you think she's front and center? And Lily is barely noticeable, especially in that black and white format. When you look at that photo, at least to me, when I look at it, it is undeniable that Lily is serving her purpose there as a prop, with Meghan's hands perfectly posed to show off her jewelry, to tell the world, look what an amazing mother I am. Except is someone actually going to tell her that the look of utter contempt in her face, particularly in this photo, her Medusa photo, tells an entirely different story, or should we just let her figure that one out by herself? Having said all this, the sons of narcissistic mothers aren't exactly spared. I mean, they're spared, I think, the most unnatural aspect of it, which is that direct competition, that jealousy that you feel towards your own daughter. I still can't wrap my head around that. I just can't. It defies humanity. But they feel it. I mean, a lot of things that people with personality disorders do defy humanity. But sons don't exactly get the better end of the deal, all things considered. First of all, speaking of jealousy, and I've mentioned this before, good luck to them when they meet a future partner whom they will love and adore and would probably want to introduce to their mother. You know, a girlfriend, a wife, whatever it is. I wish the partner, in fact, all the luck and patience and resilience in the world, because they're sorely going to need it. It goes without saying, though, that sons of narcissistic mothers suffer greatly in their childhoods, regardless of the absence of this whole strange, unnatural dynamic that seems to be exclusive to the daughter. Apart from all the terrible, debilitating side effects, even life-threatening side effects, that we discussed in the Mother's Day video. One side effect that could be experienced by sons, in particular young boys, is a feeling of being pushed out, of the sister being the favorite. We're seeing this discourse now surrounding Meghan's children. And even though we don't know for certain the dynamic in the, I suppose they're now called Sussex household, Meghan can't help but tell us, give us a hint, because that's what narcissists do. They always tell on themselves without meaning to. It's pretty obvious, based on her verbiage and her photos and projects, that everything seems to be about Lily at the moment. She was even on the landing page with her mother on As Ever, with not a hint of her brother Archie, as though she's the only child. And so perhaps feelings of isolation can come to play. I'm not good enough. Mommy didn't put me in the photo with her. Mommy talks about Lily all the time. Mommy tells me my only role in life is to support and uplift my sister. That too can have very negative, damaging side effects. Not to mention the feelings of competition and divisiveness that it would sow amongst her own children. Which, when you think about it, is probably what a narcissistic mother wants anyway, because divide and conquer, as they say. There's been extensive research and debate about what happens to narcissistic children, in the sense that, will they grow up to become narcissists too? This concept, which is called Narcissistic Legacy, refers to the combined effect of the genetic component to narcissism, which does exist, and environmental factors, because both of these, according to the research I've done at least, are required to trigger the emergence of the personality disorder. So this narcissistic legacy could definitely pass on from mother to child. In this instance, let's say mother to daughter, thereby perpetuating the cycle. Although research also says that it is possible to block its passage if the daughter is strong, resilient, and able to reject the values on which she was raised. So not all is lost, and this is particularly so when she has another positive influence in her life, primarily the second parent, maybe in this instance, the father. And if that's the case with Lily, then if you believe in God, God be with her. However, the research is still inconclusive about this whole narcissistic genetic legacy, because it turns out that it's difficult to separate the genetic component from the environmental component and measure them accurately. Interestingly, the research does confirm that NPD, in particular, the actual personality disorder, does tend to run in families. And we're getting into speculation territory again, which makes me uncomfortable, but I will acknowledge that I have seen many people claim that Meghan's parents themselves, if not both of them, then one of them, are narcissists, which would explain, at least partially, why and how she turned out to be the terror, quite frankly, that we know her to be today. All I can say is, while much of what I have surmised about Meghan and Lily and Archie is based purely on what little information is available to me, this isn't my first rodeo. I've seen this play out in real life far too many times. And the signs, in this instance, they're all there. I want to end off this video specifically by addressing daughters of narcissistic mothers who have come out the other side. I'm sure you don't need me to tell you this. A lot of you are old enough to be my mother. But your resilience and your courage is second to none. And I truly hope that in your life, you have come to terms with your experiences and understand deeply that it was never your fault. Because one thing that narcissistic mothers excel at is making you feel as though you're defective. If I don't love you, it's because there is something wrong with you. And we know as adults that that's not true. Or at least I hope we know. So yeah, that's it. Good luck to everyone out there going through this. And I'll see you in the next one. Share your stories if you're comfortable, by the way. Perhaps some of you might find it cathartic. All right. Godspeed. Good luck. People tell me, stop saying Godspeed. That means someone's dead. No, it doesn't. Look it up. It means good luck. Okay? Calm down. All right. Bye.